Okay, good evening everyone. Welcome back to the Great Edge Workshop. Oven repair tonight. Customer has reported that the oven's not getting hot except in the grill function. I've visited site, did a couple checks, which I'll show you shortly to confirm that it's a faulty element. Really nice thing about ovens to repair is that if you have any sort of electrical testing equipment, you can usually diagnose the problem pretty quickly. So we can see here the oven's powered up. It's been disconnected, so that's not the actual time that I'm filming. Just I powered it back up 3 minutes ago. I've already had the rear cover off the back, so we can see the fan. If I turn to fan mode, we know that the fan works. But I just have to take my word for it, in fan heater function, that circular element is not getting hot. But if I use the grill function, these elements do get hot. I'm not going to switch those on now. I'm going to move around. I have to disconnect it. I'll spin it around and show you from the back the diagnosis that I did. Okay, here we are around back of the oven. So I've taken the cover off just by removing a few screws around the perimeter, all pretty straightforward. The element that I think is affected is this one. It's got a couple of spade connectors that I've removed, and again, we're totally disconnected from the electrical supply, so this is quite safe. With the Megger set on resistance, low ohms resistance, I'm just going to check. Awkward to do with one hand, but open circuit. So indeed, I'm replicating the test that I've done at the customer's house, but no conductivity between these two spade connectors, which means current can't flow, which means that element can't get hot. We want to see what it ought to look like. Then I can get in here with one hand. There we go. 51.8. So 51.8 resistance. There's two sets of two loops of connectors here. I've gone on the one on the right, which I guess is the outer coil. 51.8 ohms. We know if we take voltage squared and divide it by resistance, 51.8. Oops. 230 times 230 divided by the resistance, 51.8, gives us basically 1 kilowatt. So we know that the grill element is going to be around 1 kilowatt. Let's get this out, this faulty one out, a new one in, and we'll check the resistance there and then check for function. To remove it, it's a couple of screws in there. You might just be able to see one, so there's two there, and then come around to this side. Inside the oven we have my work light set up. There's one more screw just there, so I'm going to take that one out, take the two out that I can access from the back. You can see them poking through here, and then the element will come out this way, and I've got a new one already here, so I'll get that fitted. I'm going to crack on and we'll do some testing and show how electrically it ought to be set up. Okay, so with the screws removed, that element comes out, and just checking it. Oh, there we go. The camera picks that up. That is split, so that explains why we've got no current able to pass through this, and why the oven has failed. So that one's going to end up in the bin once I show it to the customer. Actually, it's even deformed there a little bit, but I've got a new one here, and check resistance. 33.2. Now if I'm reaching around to get the calculator here that doubles as a telephone. So voltage squared divided by 33.2 is 1.6 kilowatts. I think this is actually rated at 1.8 kilowatts, but shows that that heater is going to be doing a much better job once I get it installed. So very simple to get it back in. 3 screws to mount it back, put the cover on, power it up and test to make sure that it's getting hot. And then I can phone the customer and say their oven is ready to go. I'll update you in a second with the final clip. Okay, back around front, set up again. So I've reconnected, or I've connected the new element. There's 1 screw attached and then the 2 at the back, and put the spade connectors back on. On the other side, put the covers on, so all my electrical connections at the back are fine. Now I'm just gonna turn us on here. Yeah, 200 degrees. Oven's running. That's room temperature. But if I stick that in there, you can see it's climbing away because the oven is actually getting hot. Doing a nice job. So success. I'm gonna stop that. Oh, and it has the smell of a new heating element coming. I'm gonna switch that off now before everything gets too hot, so I can fit this guard back on. And then we're good to go. So not showing all the steps here. I'm for speed and efficiency omitted footage of me removing screws, but disconnect the electrical supply, remove the rear cover, check the resistance to find the faulty element. Then it's a couple more screws to remove it. Once you get this fan cover off, chop change, put it back together, and test. Most of the time with an oven fault, that's going to solve it. Now, where did my faulty one go? Oh, it's sitting on top here. So this is one where the oven's failed open circuit. So it's just split, and that means this element is not going to be able to heat up. Everything will work electrically normally, but the oven's not going to be able to heat up. The other type of fault that you can have is a short circuit, where current, rather than flowing through a high resistance load, you have a line of neutral connected directly. That will cause a short circuit, and your circuit breaker is going to go pop. That's a different set of repair. Likely could still be an element fault. But what I've just gone through, your symptoms you have is that everything seems to work normally with the oven, but it just won't get warm. Okay. Hope this helps somebody. Thanks for tuning in. Bye for now. Oh, actually, sorry, before I sign off, one other thing that I just wanted to show. The voltage here, so I did 230 volts because that's the nominal voltage in the UK, but the actual voltage in my workshop, the supply voltage at the moment is 247. So if we square that and then divide by the resistance that we were getting, that's in ohms, we get the 1.8 kilowatts that the element is rated at. Okay, so yeah, that's that. The maths work. Okay, all right, signing off now. Bye for now.